Hey guys, and welcome back. So I've been telling you in previous videos that I've been refinishing the kitchen cabinets here at my son's home. So today's video is going to be all of my tips, my materials, tricks, whatever you want to call it, so that if you decide to undertake this journey, I have given you what I find to be very successful to have a really great finish on these cabinets and to make your job a little bit easier. So I'm not going to show you me actually doing the cabinet refinish. I'll show you the before and afters, but I definitely am going to give you all of my materials. I'm going to explain about these materials, where I got them, yada, yada, yada. And hopefully, if you undertake this cabinet journey, my information will be very helpful to you. So let's go. Okay, don't expect much when it comes to these cabinets. So these are just the cheapest cabinets they put in this home because it was going to be a rental home. If I didn't mention before, my son lives here, but this is a family home. The inside of the cabinets, as you can see, are raw. The wall is right there. And whoever did the staining on this cabinet, oh my God, they did a horrible job. They're the cheapest cabinets, of course, you can find. But, I mean, put in a little work, they can be acceptable. So I'm going to show you what I've done so far. And this is over the sink area, the cabinets that go across. So these are the ones that I have completed already over the stove. I hate this is common in Alabama, might be common in other states, with these outside hinges. I hate those, but I did replace all of the hinges. Now, what I want to show you is the other content creators that you see on Instagram or even on YouTube. They show you the finished product and they're at a distance like this, but they very rarely show you the finish when like real close up. So you don't know whether you can see roller marks, brush marks, or whatnot, but I'm going to give you that. Okay. So I'm going to show you, the finish. Let's see. So can you see that? You do see a little marks. Let's see. Well, you can't really. Okay, so can you see that? You see like a little orange peel, I guess that's what they call it, texture. But I'm telling you, this is very soft and scratch resistant. Unless you are just brutal with cabinets, that finish from this particular paint that I'm going to tell you about is very, very good. And I did do, so like you can see, you see that? Like a light, and I did sand in between. It's a very, very light orange peel texture, if that's what you want to call it. And you can only see that from a distance. On the inside, I did, everything. And everything is really nice and smooth. And I did caulk all along everything except for the top shelf. But I caulked where, the cabinets meet the wall. I always cover all of my shelves. I never, no matter where I live at, I don't care how nice the cabinets are, I always cover the shelves with shelf liner in order to keep them, nice. So, yeah, they did come out wonderful. The finish is amazing. And like I said, from a distance, they really look good. So the bottom cabinets were a whole different set of cabinets than the top cabinets. They were the builder grade pine wood or whatever. But they still came out very nice. You still see a light texture. And you still see a little of the wood grain. So if you have heavy wood grain cabinets, yes, you will see some of the wood grain. But still a nice finish. From far away, you can't see it. So to start with, you're going to need paint and primer. This is my primer. I liked Zinsser much better than Kiehl's when it comes to painting cabinets or furniture. And by the way, everything that I tell you that's applying to the cabinets will also apply if you want to refinish a piece of furniture. So I have the Zinsser Bullseye 123, and this is water-based. You do not need to sand in between, and you really don't need to do 2 coats unless it is a very dark piece of furniture. Dries in 1 hour. Great product. Now the paint, my goodness. Benjamin Moore Advance. This would be number 1 on my paint choices. Number 2 would be Sherwin-Williams. I would not recommend a product like Behr or Valspar or Glidden. God, no. But Behr and Valspar, Behr is better than, in my opinion, than Valspar when it comes to doing your walls, but I would not recommend it for furniture or cabinets if you want a great finish. This Benjamin Moore Advance, which you can get either at a Benjamin Moore or like an Ace Hardware, is the best product that I have found, and I have looked at multiple reviews, and this one has always been recommended not only by DIYers, but by professionals. Now, I did use satin because, you know, semi-gloss does show a lot of imperfections, and flat, well, it's just not washable. You get it tinted to whatever color you need, and it is an absolutely fabulous product. Now, I bought 2 gallons, okay? Benjamin Moore is not a cheap paint. I think these gallons were almost maybe $70, $80 a gallon. Not sure. But I bought 2, but I'm going to tell you. So I did show you that's those cabinets. Then there's these cabinets and drawers, and I did the inside of these. I didn't do the inside of the bottoms. And then, sorry for flipping you so fast. And then I did these and the insides. I still have a gallon of the first gallon, a half to maybe a little bit less than a half, but more than a quarter. So I really didn't even need the second gallon. So keep that in mind. This paint goes a long way because you don't use it thick. You do 2 coats, but it still goes a long way. So of course you're gonna need a little workspace. I just have a small folding table from Walmart. You're gonna need sandpaper. Now you're gonna need hand sandpaper that you use by hand. And I also bought a small DeWalt sander that works really well. I bought one of these blocks, but you can always wrap that around if you have the sheets too around the block. 120. Lord have mercy. I have a 180. 220. I don't think I used 220. Or maybe I did. I just bought various. 120, 220, and I think this block, I don't know. This is 220, so I did use a lot of 220. And I think this one, 100. Okay, maybe I did use some 100. What? Yeah, okay. When it comes, and then I also purchased the small roller pans. You can get these anywhere, but I found these on Amazon, and it's a whole pack full of them because I'm not doing all of the cabinets at one time. I need to take a break, so I just throw this away because then you start getting those what I call paint boogers with those little blobs in there, and then you have to pick them out with your nail. I can't stand that. Now, I am putting my primer on with just a regular foam roller. Let me see if I can find it. I got those from the dollar store or somewhere. These little foam rollers. And that's what I'm putting my primer on with. You can wet this first lightly, or you can wrap it in tape and then pull the tape off to make sure you don't have any little hairs. But this is good enough for your primer. When it came to putting on the paint, you want to make sure that you have a great brush. I recommend a Purdy brush because these are probably the best quality that I have found over the years of painting everything in the world. Purdy is the best company. Don't buy those cheap brushes because it's just a waste. You can buy a cheap brush to get in the small areas of the primer, you know, but don't buy a cheap brush for the paint. Now, this company, Whizz, okay? Whizz, to me, I found is a very good product, okay? This is flocked foam, premium spray-like finish. Whizz for cabinets, furniture, and doors. And this is a big pack of them. And these are the ones that I use to do the finish. Now, and you can buy these on Amazon. What I also bought was the Whizz velour rollers because I saw online that they work really good. And they do, but if you can see how thin they are, they're very small and thin. And I started to use these, but it just seems like you have to just keep loading the paint way too much. But they do give a very great finish. I probably would stick with these Whizz flocked foam. I really would. Of course, I bought a little small cup, so I didn't, you know, for little small areas, I can just put some paint down on the inside. You are going to want to buy, and I bought these on Amazon, you're going to want to buy tack cloth. That helps you after you sand to wipe down your wood to get all of the sanding debris off, because if you use just a regular cloth or even a paper towel or something, you're still going to have some debris from your sanding. So get a good tack cloth. I'm going to tell you now, I don't know what they put on them, but they feel really nasty on your hands afterwards. You're going to want to wash your hands. It's a gross feeling. And I bought this caulk, paintable caulk, to do in those seams that I showed you, but you can always use any kind of caulk that's paintable. And you can use this squeeze kind, or you can use with a caulk gun. I'm going to use, for the next ones I'm going to finish, I'm going to use a caulk gun because I'm tired of squeezing and rolling this stuff down. I also bought this wood filler for things that I needed to fill in. I didn't need a lot, so they had a big old container of it. And it was kind of pricey, so I didn't want to buy that. But this wasn't that bad, and it works really well. Okay. So one of the main things that you are going to want to pay attention to is when you remove your cabinet doors. Before you remove them, you're going to mark them take a piece of painter's tape and a Sharpie. Let's just say this is 1 left, 2 left, 3 left, 4, wait. Oh, about to screw myself up. Cabinet number 1. Left, right. Cabinet number 2, left, right. Cabinet number 3, left, right. That is important because just the way the holes are put in of your existing cabinets, if you mix them up, they may not fit back in exactly the right way. It's weird. You would think they would. It's just a hole, but not necessarily. And you don't want to have to go re-drilling holes, taking doors off, playing, door shuffle to figure out what door belongs where. Just mark them with some painter's tape. And as you're painting, you're going to move the painter's tape, reapply it. But still, you're going to want to put the painter's tape on there, and you're going to want to label those doors. Okay, for the hardware, I purchased this on Amazon. And I really like this company. They have multiple finishes. They have multiple sizes, different shapes, whatever, you know, square, long, however you want. And whether you want stainless, black, bronze, or goldish. But the prices are great. So in this box, what is this? This is the handles. And they give you a screwdriver. They give you also the long breakaway screws if you have really thick cabinets. And then they give you the shorter screws. And I think I needed maybe 20. You can buy them in like 20, 30, 40. I think it was like $26 for 20 knobs. And then the hinges. So in here you get your hinges, and I think I bought, I don't know, 20 of those maybe. But you get your hinges. They come with multiple screws, and they also give you cabinet bumpers to go with your hinges. These are very good quality. They're good metal, matte black for this. So I'm just starting to remove the doors from the cabinets that I'm going to work on today. And as you can see how bad they look. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the paint. So as I mentioned about the paint, it goes a lot further than you think. So it depends on how many cabinets you have, to whether you're going to need to buy 1 or 2 gallons. But my recommendation is to buy 1 gallon. Of course, you're going to have the numbers on the top of the mixture. So you can always go back and buy another gallon. This paint, I'm going to tell you, if you're going to spray, a lot of people will thin the paint out for the walls, right? Don't thin this paint. It is fine. It is the perfect consistency, viscosity, whatever. Do not thin this paint. Do not add any water into it. Now, this paint is self-leveling, and it has some kind of alkali in it that helps it develop a really rock-hard finish, almost like, I don't know, like, I guess an epoxy or something would. I don't know. But it's an alkali in there that will help it to be very durable once it cures. With this paint, because of the consistency, you cannot apply this paint the same way that you put paint on walls. Now, I know a lot of you say, well, I know how to paint, but this is a different situation. Okay, because it's self-leveling and it's a lot thinner, you're going to want to do very thin coats because you're going to sand in between each coats. Usually it should take only 2 coats, depending on, unless you got black cabinets. But it should only take 2 coats. And like I said, you want to put it on very thin. Now, otherwise you're going to have pooling all in the cracks, or you're going to get runs and drips. And then you're just going to have more work to do when you go back to sand it, to try to get it smooth so you don't see the drips. So very thin coats. Now let's talk about this roller. The foam rollers are different than the ones that you normally get for the walls. I don't know what that is made out of walls. I call it fake fur. That's what it looks like to me. A foam roller is going to absorb way more paint, put more paint on, but these foam rollers that I showed you work even a little differently, okay? I've read some reviews where some people say, well, these foam rollers don't work, they don't roll, and they just glide across my surface and or skid across the surface. Well, the reason for that is they are pressing too hard. With these foam rollers, you really need a light touch when you're rolling, because 1, you don't want to put on too much paint, and 2, you want the roller to rotate like it's supposed to. If you press too hard, it's just going to skid across the surface. So it is not the roller that is default, it is your technique. So keep that in mind. That is a very important tip. You may have to work on your technique. You'll find out what is the proper amount of pressure that you need to put on these rollers when you're rolling this paint. Now, of course, you're gonna, if you have any grooves, and then when you're doing your cabinet frames, you're gonna need a brush. As I said, you wanna use a good brush, a Purdy brush probably. Or you can go to Sherwin-Williams and use one of their brands, but you wanna use a good brush. And the best brushes at like Home Depot and Lowe's are Purdy's. Yeah, so your thin coat, you may think, well, it's not that great of a coverage at first. Yeah, maybe not, but your intention is to not do this in one coat. This is not a one coat paint. You're going to need 2 coats regardless. If you cover in white cabinets, it doesn't matter. You need to do 2 coats. You need to put them thin enough and then do a very light sanding. I use 220 grit sandpaper. Do your light sanding, put your second coat on, and that should take care of covering your cabinets very well. You would not need to do 3 coats, like I said, unless you had some very dark cabinets to start with. But even then, you're still going to prime, and that primer is a necessity. You want to clean your cabinets first with some type of degreaser, like Simple Green or Purple Power or 409 or something. Make sure all of that residue is off. Then you're going to want to prime. Then you start your paint. All of these steps are essential for you to be able to have a successful cabinet refinish. And make sure you tape your doors, and so you'll know which door is which so that you can put them back up properly. Well, I think I've covered everything. If there's some questions that you have, leave me some comments, and I definitely will try to respond to all the comments. It's an easy enough project for a beginner to do, provided they take their time and do it right. Now, it is time consuming, yes. So I just took an Uber back from dropping a rental vehicle off, and we just got to talking about home stuff. And he said he just paid somebody to do his cabinets. They sprayed them. He showed me the photos. They look all right. They don't look all that good because I saw some drips and some runs. And this was a professional. But he said he paid $1,800. So for me, and I'm not including like sandpaper, the rollers and all of that, but for the paint, the primer, and the knobs and the hinges, I think it was maybe like $300. So that is a great price. If you take your time and do it yourself, it is doable. If you have help, that's even better. It won't take as long as it took me. You're saving money by doing it yourself. And as long as your technique is good, you're learning as you go, you will perfect your technique and feel very confident that you can get this done and save money at the same time. So if this video was helpful to you, leave me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I appreciate you guys being here. You are what keeps my channel going. And you can always share me with a friend or whatever. And like I said, if you have any questions about the cabinet painting, leave it in the comments and I will get back to you. And until then, guys, I'm about to go keep moving in the kitchen and finish my job. You guys keep moving too. Bye.